it's Christina from Creations with Christina. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Gemini Junior. I've had this for a couple of months and I absolutely love this machine. It's a great die cutting machine. Just to kind of go over what it comes with the actual machine. There are all of your plates. There's two of the acrylic plates, and I know they call them something different. I think they're just called the clear cutting plates. There's also a plastic shim. You have a magnetic shim where this side is the shiny side, and then there's a dull side. The shiny side is the magnetic side of this. There's also a metal cutting plate that is used for your more intricate dies, and I have not had to use this yet. And then there's also a, I believe this is just, they just call it the embossing mat. It comes with these mats. It also comes with an embossing folder and a couple of die sets. So I pulled out this die set. There's also this tag die that is a multimedia die, which has a little bit of a thicker cutting edge to it. And then, like I said, these. Now this is the more intricate die, so I have not tried this one yet, so I figured I would give this a try, see if I need to use my metal shim, and if I don't, I will, I'm gonna try it the regular way and then add the metal shim if it needs that little bit of intricacy. And then there's also an embossing folder that comes with it. I'm not gonna use that today. I pulled out a We Are Memory Keepers embossing folder, as well as one of their larger embossing folders, which I already embossed this one and I was like, ooh, I need to play with this. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna start off. This is the machine. We have our power button, which when it's on, it's lit. We have our go button and pause button, so play and pause. And then we also have a reverse button. So if you wanted to reverse your die as it's going through, you could. So we're gonna go ahead and start with just plain die cutting. So I'm gonna pull out some cardstock. This is some paper tray and cardstock. I forget the weight of their cardstock. I wanna say it's probably 80-pound cardstock. And I'm gonna start off doing this the way the book shows you how to do it. And the only reason why I do mine differently is because I like to be able to see where I'm cutting, and the way the book has it set up, it has a clear cutting plate, the plastic shim, your magnetic shim, your die, which I almost did not put that on there, so your die, and putting it on the magnetic side, so I have the shiny side of the magnet up, your cardstock, and then your plate, your other clear plate. The only reason why I changed mine up, because sometimes you just like to be able to see where your die cutting through, and I'm gonna let this play. Normally I'm gonna, the first time I'm just gonna let the sound take over, because to me this is a little loud. I know some people thought this was kind of quiet. I don't totally agree with it. However, the loudness of it does not bother me. The quality that it die cuts is what I really like. So this time I'm gonna let it run with the sound, and later on, probably during editing, I'm gonna get rid of the sound. So as soon as you feed this in, and then you heard how loud it is, as soon as you feed it in, it's automatically grabs your die cut and grab your sandwich and pull it through, so you don't really have to do anything. This is the die cut. This is just a little scallop circle by Spellbinders that I die cut, and really like how that came out. So the other way, this is how I do it, because sometimes I want to see what I'm die cutting. So I almost do it the opposite. I put my acrylic, my cardstock, my die, because I wanted it up in the top. I could do that. Then you could put your sandwich back together. So you can do this however you want. I like to do it so I could see where I'm die cutting, and you can always use tape. Okay. We have that, and our die is probably stuck to our magnet. It sure is. So now I'm gonna play with embossing. Since I have this die out, I'm gonna work with the embossing mat. As you can see, everything under the sun sticks to this thing, so it's got a lot of dust stuck to it. And I'm gonna pull out my book because I need to check my sandwich and make sure I have it right. So we're embossing with Crafter's Companion dies. So we're gonna start with a clear plate, the plastic shim. I'm gonna pull out this, you can use the same die. Our die with the blade facing up. Our cardstock, which is, gotta grab one more piece. Gonna have a lot of scalloped circles. Then we're gonna take our embossing mat, put that right over the top, and our other acrylic plate. So we're not using our magnetic shim for this one. So as you can see with this one, instead of die cutting through, it left the embossed mark. So now I do see that mine did kind of die cut through on this one piece. I've done this before and it hasn't die cut through, but that's the embossed. I don't really use this as much. I'm more of just die cutting in embossing folders. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna play with our embossing folders. I am going to take this regular embossing folder. I'm just gonna use this piece of cardstock that I already did the embossing on as to not waste any kind of cardstock. Putting it between the two acrylic plates, and we're gonna run them through. So it doesn't really emboss very well. You probably can't even see, it doesn't pick it up on camera, I don't think, the embossing. So what I'm gonna do is just take my two acrylic plates and I'm gonna throw a couple pieces of cardstock on top of it. So I'm just gonna add 2 more pieces of cardstock on top of my piece. Probably could even include my metal shim if I needed to. And that definitely gave a better impression. So I just tossed in 2 extra pieces of cardstock. This little cutting right here is from the scalloped edge that I did before. So it definitely made a big difference just to add 2 pieces of cardstock to that. Now I'm going to do one more embossing folder, and I'm gonna grab my big We Are Memory Keepers embossing folder. These are a little bit thicker, and I'm gonna stick my cardstock right inside there. And my 2 plates, and run that through. I love this die. So you can really see the embossing on this one. Boy, I love both sides of this. So this would be a fun card base. All right, so the very last thing I want to show you is how to do intricate dies. I'm gonna do this the first time without adding the metal shim. So I'm putting together my sandwich. I have my clear plate, my plastic shim, my magnetic piece, my intricate die. This is the one that comes with your Gemini Junior piece of cardstock, and my cutting plate. And I'm just gonna run this through. That I am doing this without using the metal shim. And as you can see, it die cuts it perfectly without the metal shim. And, oh, I didn't realize this is the first time I die cut this one. Like I said, intricate die, I didn't need to add the metal shim to get this to cut. My tension seems to be pretty good on my Gemini, but they do offer this, and it comes with the system so that you can use this for embossing and for die cutting these intricate dies. But look how pretty that is. I really love that. So I want to test one more time my embossing folders with including the metal shim. Since this one I added 2 pieces of cardstock, we're gonna die cut it, or emboss it rather, with this time the metal shims. We're just gonna get rid of all these little pieces of cardstock there and open up our metal shim. This is the first time I've never used this. I've never had to so far. But it comes with your system, so that if you need it, it's there for you. And we're gonna go ahead and now emboss using the metal shim. So the first time I did this, I did it with 2 pieces of cardstock. And, well, it's pretty good. I think the 2 pieces of cardstock would be better. So this is the one I did with the 2 pieces of cardstock. And this is the one I did with the metal shim, and definitely, I mean, I like the impression on this. It didn't give a really deep impression. It's a very subtle one, and it actually is kind of pretty, but I think I like it better with the deep impression. So you do have to play with this, kind of figure out your sandwich, what kind of tension your machine has, and then what it does need. But I do love this. I have it sitting right here on my desk, so when I'm die cutting, I just turn it on, whip it through, and I can keep going. As a matter of fact, this came in very handy when I was working on mass producing a whole bunch of Christmas tags this past holiday, that I just kind of sat here and fed through and had a video playing. So great machine, definitely recommend it. I'll leave a link to it down below in the YouTube description if you want to check it out. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye!